An Israeli airstrike has killed senior Hamas armed commander Ayman Nofal in Gaza. This was confirmed by the Hamas armed wing, the Izz el-Din al-Qassam brigades. According to a member of the wing, Nofal was in charge of the central Gaza area. A residential building has been damaged by a rocket attack in Israel's southern town of Sderot. 4 rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip and they damaged homes in the area. However, no injuries have been reported so far. Israeli authorities have urged the residents of Sderot to vacate the town. Clashes along the Israel-Lebanon border continue to escalate. On Tuesday, the Israeli army said that it killed 4 people from Lebanon's Hezbollah group. They allegedly tried to cross the border fence and plant an explosive device. Hezbollah confirmed that 5 of its members were killed. However, it wasn't clear if any of them were the same ones that Israel was referring to. Meanwhile, the Israeli Defense Forces have warned Hezbollah that Israel is ready to fight both them and Hamas simultaneously. Iran-backed Hezbollah and Israeli forces have traded fire for almost daily since Hamas attacked Israel earlier this month. This is the most serious flare-up at the Israel-Lebanon border in 17 years. Israel's national security advisor has said that the country has agreed to establish a safe zone in southern Gaza. This is so that civilians fleeing the area are able to receive humanitarian aid. However, it will be established on the condition that the aid does not go to Hamas. The Israeli national security advisor has said that if the aid does not reach civilians, it will be withdrawn. About 500 people have been killed in a blast at a hospital in Gaza. This is according to Palestinian health authorities. The strike on the Al-Ali Al-Arabi hospital is the bloodiest event in Gaza since the Israel-Hamas war began. The hospital was sheltering thousands of displaced people seeking medical treatment when the attack occurred. A spokesperson for the Israeli military has blamed the hospital blast on the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group. He said that a failed rocket launch from the group caused the bombing at the hospital. However, the PIJ has denied Israel's accusations. The Palestinian Authority's President Mahmoud Abbas has blamed Israel for the blast at the hospital. He described it as a war crime and massacre. Meanwhile, the Palestinian United Nations ambassador Riyad Mansour has also blamed Israel for the hospital blast. Protests erupted in Jordan's capital Amman near the Israeli embassy after the Gaza hospital blast. The protesters tried to storm the Israeli embassy. Police clashed with the demonstrators and used tear gas to control the situation. Meanwhile, thousands gathered at the Israeli consulate in Istanbul following the Gaza hospital tragedy. Turkish security forces used water cannons and pepper spray to disperse the protesters. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan condemned the Gaza hospital blast. He called it a violation of human values and demanded international action. Over 100 people gathered outside the U.S. Embassy in Lebanon. The protests erupted after the Gaza hospital blast. The Lebanese police forces fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse the crowd. U.S. President Joe Biden has said that he is outraged and saddened by the explosion at the Gaza hospital. Biden added that he has directed his national security team to gather information about the blast. His comments came ahead of his meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Biden left for Tel Aviv on Tuesday night. He's visiting Israel in a show of solidarity after it was attacked by Hamas earlier this month. However, Biden will no longer be traveling to Jordan after Israel as previously planned. Jordan cancelled the meeting with Biden after the deadly Gaza hospital blast. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz had traveled to Tel Aviv on Tuesday. He met with Israel's President Isaac Herzog and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Herzog thanked the German Chancellor for his strong stance alongside Israel. He also expressed concern for German citizens taken hostage by Hamas. Meanwhile, relatives of the German hostages held by Hamas also met with Scholz. The family members shared their priorities with the German Chancellor during the 40-minute meeting. They urged Scholz to secure the release of the hostages. Moving to other political news, Russian President Vladimir Putin held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Putin told Xi that Russia must maintain close coordination with China on foreign policy at the present moment. Meanwhile, Xi spoke about both the countries' deepening mutual political trust. This meeting took place during the second day of Putin's visit to Beijing. He's there to attend China's Belt and Road Forum. Ukraine used US-supplied long-range missiles for the first time on Tuesday. The Ukrainian armed forces shared a video showing the tactical missile systems in action. They said the missile attack inflicted heavy damage on 2 airfields in Russian-occupied territory. The Belgian police have killed the gunman behind the deaths of 2 Swedes in Brussels. The 45-year-old was shot by authorities inside a cafe. Yesterday, after the brutal attack, the assailant released a video where he said he was inspired by the terror group ISIS. Republican Party Congressman Jim Jordan failed to win the U.S. House speakership on his first bid on Tuesday. This is after 20 Republican lawmakers did not vote for him. Earlier this month, the position was left vacant after Kevin McCarthy was removed as the House Speaker in a historic vote. The United Nations Refugee Agency, or UNHCR, has urged continued attention to the Rohingya refugee crisis. Nearly 1 million Rohingya people found refuge in Bangladesh after Myanmar's 2017 crackdown. The UNHCR commended Bangladesh for its support and also praised Dhaka's education efforts for Rohingya children. Discussions are also ongoing about letting refugees work in their camps to earn a livelihood. Now for sports news. The ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 has witnessed yet another phenomenal upset. The Dutch beat the Proteas. Yes, you heard that right. The Netherlands defeated the mighty South Africa, who failed to chase 246. The Dutch team had put up 245 in 43 overs, down from 50 due to rain. South Africa were bowled out for 207 in the shadow of the Himalayas at Dharamshala Stadium in the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. South Africa were one of the tournament favourites. They looked like they were in exceptional form with both bat and ball. While the Proteas scored over 300 runs in their first 2 matches, the Netherlands endured defeat in both their opening fixtures. However, the European outsiders humiliated the Proteas in Dharamshala, and this has happened for the second time in under a year. Last November, the Dutch sent South Africa crashing out of the T20 World Cup in Australia. In the initial over, South Africa reduced the Dutch batting order to a molehill of runs. Until the 19th over, more extras had been conceded than any Dutchman had scored off the bat. South Africa's Kagiso Rabada dismissed opener Vikramjit Singh and Marco Jansen took out Max O'Dowd. Rabada struck again as he sent back past lead for just 2 runs. Gerald Coetzee then used his pace to dismiss in-form Colin Ackerman. The Netherlands were 82 for 5 in the 21st over and 112 for 6 in the 27th. But after the fall of the opening lineup, the Dutch middle order began to rattle South Africa's bowlers. The fall of the 5th wicket brought to the crease Scott Edwards. The Dutch captain stood till the end, hitting an unbeaten 78 of 69 balls. Edwards stood through 4 partnerships. The biggest was the 37-ball 64 he shared with Roelof van der Merwe. The Dutch made 104 runs in the last 9 overs, with 64 coming in just the last 5. While the Dutch skipper's bat pulled the team through, the team's quality bowling also ripped apart South Africa's high-profile top order. Colin Ackerman got the ball rolling with the key wicket of Quinton de Kock. De Kock went back for 20, his lowest score in 7 innings. 7 balls later, Van der Merwe smuggled a ball past Themba Bavuma's bat and onto his stumps. The South African skipper returned to the pavilion with 16 on the board of 31 balls. Exactly 7 deliveries later, Paul van Meekeren nailed Aidan Markham's off-stump with a brilliant in-swinger. It was a perfect length delivery, just a shade outside the off, that nipped back in sharply and beat the outside edge to send the stump cartwheeling. 6 balls later, Rassie van der Dusen went for an ambitious reverse sweep, and the ball landed in the hands of Aryan Dutt. Van der Merwe had bagged another wicket. South Africa were 44 for 4 in the 12th over. Its top batting order came crashing down in just 21 deliveries. A 45-run stand for the 5th wicket between David Miller and Heinrich Klaasen helped stabilize the South African innings, but Klaasen's dismissal in the 19th over made the chase tougher. In another breakthrough for the Dutch, Marco Jansen was dismissed by Paul van Meekeren in the 25th over. Klaasen and Jansen shared 103 of 62 balls. The game was pretty much in the Netherlands' grasp after Miller was clean bowled for 43 runs by Logan van Beek. Gerald Coetzee was removed for 22, caught by Scott Edwards. Bas de Leede got that wicket. The last 3 wickets fell in quick succession. South Africa were all out for 207 runs in 42.5 overs, losing the match by 38 runs. South Africa were defeated by a non-test playing nation for the first time at a one-day international. The Proteas had been eyeing an unbeaten streak, but the loss has robbed them of the chance to leapfrog India and New Zealand at the top of the World Cup standings. Themba Bavuma's side remained third following their first defeat in the tournament. Meanwhile, the Dutch register their first win and overtake Sri Lanka to move up to 9th.